Good morning. My name is Daniel Crane, and I am today's worship associate and also involved in Horizon Players, Horizon Pagans, Cups, and occasionally the choir whenever I can here at Horizon. We are excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning and are glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. Today is a all ages service. So after the bridging ceremony, everyone will return to the seats with the family and remain in the sanctuary. The nursery is open to children in kindergarten and below. Children can be taken to and from the nursery and childcare at any time during the worship service. And I have 3 announcements. If you've been visiting us or would like to learn more about Horizon and Unitarian Universalism, please meet in the library after the service with your coffee and snacks for a short Q&A session with representatives from our membership committee. Please drop children off in the nursery before attending. Everyone is welcome to stop by the fellowship hall after service today for a short reception to honor our high school bridging teens, and also for Earth Day activities. The baskets by your seats, you will find items to color in and create for the Web of Life display that will be outside in the main hall. During the worship, color in one or more animals, plants, peoples, or your own item on the papers found in the basket, and it will be added to the bulletin board to show that we are connected to the earth and everyone and everything.
Today, as a community of all generations, we celebrate our connections to this earthly home. This morning, we will not only celebrate Earth Day and the interconnected web of life of which we are all a part, but also the connections among the generations in our community. Let us enter into the spirit of worship with these words from Margaret Kipe. She writes, "As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves to be at home, here on earth, under the stars, linked with each other. So come, let us worship together." Our chalice lighting words this morning come from Mark Causey. "We light this chalice, spark of the original fire of creation, to remind us that we are all on this planet. We are all made of the same star stuff and all share a common destiny. We are many diverse perspectives from which the whole is seen and experienced. We are inextricably intertwined, interconnected, and interdependent, and it is good." Please join me in saying together the words of the affirmation of this church. "Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together." I invite you to rise, either in body or in spirit, for our opening hymn. It's number 175 in the gray hymnal. We celebrate the web of life.
Life is in need in our local community. And you are always welcome to bring items for MetroCrest services each Sunday. If you have brought donations today for MetroCrest, please pass them to the aisle because I would like to invite our young people to come up front. And folks, I'm going to ask you to sit in the seats if you can and make sure to leave this part open. So sit in the seats and leave this part open. So I'd like to invite the children first.
Thanks, Pam.
All right, we are coming down. We're going to let them get settled in before we start the next part. All right, it looks good. So we are going to start our bridging ceremony, and at this time, I would like to invite our bridging teens to come up front and to stand up over here. I'm going to call you one by one, and would you come up when I say your name? I believe Sheridan Cochran is sick today, but if Sheridan is here, she's invited to come up front. Right? Armand Nutterford. Aaliyah Newcomer. Joshua Nadel. And Claire Peden.
The bridging ceremony is an honored tradition in our Unitarian Universalist faith. It is a time to honor these youth who are about to enter adulthood, an opportunity to listen to their wisdom, and a chance to covenant with them once again as they take a new place in the life of our congregation.
We call this a bridging ceremony because a bridge invites the traveler to journey towards something new. At the same time, the bridge is planted in the homeland as well as in the new territory, so the connection is not severed, but just stretched because we are forever connected. And so this ceremony is both an invitation and a hope. For we are inviting you, the bridgers, to remember as you spread your wings that your roots are here. And as you are very dear to our hearts, and as you begin this new stage of life, this is your church home.
I'd like to offer you a blessing. The words come from the Reverend Julia Hamilton. We bless you today. May your mind be on fire with wonder and wisdom. May your heart be aflame with love for this life. May your hands be ignited with purpose, and may your spirit be aglow with courage and compassion. You are a light unto the world, and you carry our steadfast love with you wherever you may go. Will those present in the congregation please repeat this blessing for our teens after me? We bless you.
We bless you.
We love you.
We love you.
May your life unfold with joy.
May your life unfold with joy.
Amen. Today you will receive 2 gifts. The first is a rose. At a child dedication, a child is offered a rose with the thorns removed in order to protect the child because they are young and just beginning their journey. But for you, a new adult, this rose has its thorns. This rose is a symbol. The flower reflects the beauty you will experience in the years to come, and the thorns, the challenges that adult life will hold for you.
For each of you, we have prepared a small box for your journey into adulthood. In it, you will find a chalice to take the light and warmth of this place with you wherever you go, and notes from the members of the congregation filled with wishes and wisdom for the next stage of your lives. They are in the lobby, and everyone is invited to write a note in the seats and drop them in the boxes in the lobby. And Bridgers, you may take those boxes home with you after the reception today. So congratulations again. Please make sure to read the blue card with their biographies. These are very inspirational teens. And let's have a round of applause for our 2023 Bridging teens. At this time, remember, the children stay in the service, but if you are in 7th and 8th grade OWL, you will need to go to class right now.
On this Earth Day weekend, we remember and give thanks for the earth and the interconnected web of life that sustains us. Let us give in gladness this morning, knowing that our community is nurtured by our generosity. The offering will now be joyfully given and received.
So now we're going to start with a story. If we're going to think about our blue boat home as an interconnected web, we should start with wonder. And do you know what wonder is? Wonder is that feeling that gives us goosebumps and makes us say, wow. It's that feeling we get when we start thinking about questions that maybe don't have certain answers. So here's how the first source of Unitarian Universalism describes it: the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life.
We're going to see whether we can invite more of those feelings by telling the story of our place in the universe. The photos and the maps on the screen and you are going to help us remember our place on this blue-green planet and find our place in the web of life. Let's look at the first photo.
All right, can you see what that is? Yeah, it's the Milky Way galaxy, you're right. That's where our sun and Earth are located. There are hundreds of billions of solar systems like ours in this galaxy. It's incredible. Some people feel very small when they see the Milky Way galaxy and realize our place in it is maybe a little tiny, but then some people feel wonder and awe inside and goosebumpy on the outside.
There's no way to find our country, much less our city, in this image of the solar system, but we are still a part of it. We're in that picture, whether we can see ourselves or not. I invite you to think about why it's important to know that we are there in that photo.
So, do you see the letters NASA? Do any of our young people know what NASA stands for? Do you know what NASA stands for? Oh, NASA, yeah, okay. It's NASA, the National Aeronautic and Space Association. So NASA designs spacecrafts and shuttles that travel into space and the International Space Station. In the 1970s, NASA asked a scientist named Carl Sagan to help them design a spacecraft. One of them was called Voyager 1.
Voyager was designed to go very, very far into outer space, way past the moon. A trip so long that it would take many, many years. And that's one reason there were no people aboard. In fact, Voyager is still on its trip, as is its sibling, Voyager 2. Both of them are farther from the Earth than any other human-made object has ever been. Before it left our solar system, Voyager 1 gave us a present, thanks to Carl Sagan.
So you see a picture of Carl Sagan. Those of us who are a little older might remember him from TV. So Carl loved astronomy, but he had ideas that went beyond how to build spaceships. He decided that it was very important for us on Earth to see our planet from far away. Carl told NASA that they should program Voyager's cameras to take a picture of our planet from the edge of our solar system. But the people at NASA told Carl that a picture taken from the edge of the solar system, 3.7 billion miles away, would be useless because Earth would be so tiny. But you know what? Carl did not give up. In the months leading up to Voyager's launch, he begged and pleaded with NASA for the photograph to be taken. He wouldn't let them say no, and he finally got his way.
In the spring of 1990, as the Voyager spacecraft was speeding out of our solar system at 40,000 miles per hour, it turned its cameras back toward Earth for one last glance homeward.
The Voyager picture shows Earth as a tiny pinprick of light sitting alone in the darkness. Through an accident of geometry and optics, Earth seems to be sitting in a beam of light. The plane itself emits a light blue glow thanks to our the planet itself emits a light blue glow because of our seas and skies. This awe-inspiring picture is affectionately known as the pale blue dot. Carl Sagan knew that seeing Earth as a tiny blue dot in space would be so important for humans, and he was right.
Let's hold this image of the pale blue dot in our mind and in our hearts as we take time to hear the joys and sorrows of our community. We share in congratulations and pride for our graduating seniors and all folks who are bridging, moving on to the next phase of life. Sail and shine bright. Love from your extended UU family. We share in joy with Pam as she closed on her new home on Friday and will be moving sometime in June. We share in sadness with Samir and many other folks. He shares sadness about bills that were passed in the state Senate, 10 Commandments in public schools, banning diversity and tenure from colleges. We share in that sadness and frustration. We also share in joy with Carmen. She says, I am a great-grandaunt for the 6th time. Julian Luthner was born April 18th in Munich. Congratulations. I invite us to share now in a moment of silence. We carry all of these joys and sorrows in our hearts, as well as those that are not named aloud this morning.
So please join me in this ritual of connection. The first thing you'll have to do is look in the basket at the end of your rows and make sure everyone has a ribbon. And perhaps I could ask the ushers to walk up and down the rows to facilitate that process. I have an extra ribbon up here in case you need it. And we are going to be standing as we can, so you may want to make sure you have your hymnals off your laps and things like that, or your orders of service. Okay, here comes our ushers with ribbons, if anybody needs any. I don't believe the folks up here have ribbons. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we have a really good hold of our ribbon in our right hand. Okay, so you want to make sure it doesn't slip through your fingers. You might want to wrap it around a finger or once around your palm so you have a good grip on it. Okay, does everybody have a good grip on their ribbon? Okay, I invite you to rise as you are able, and if you cannot, just stay in your seat. Now what I'd like you to do, excuse me, Dan, go ahead.
Next, offer the other end of your ribbon to someone next to you and let them hold it. If you're at the end of a row or in the choir area, please offer your ribbon. Please offer your ribbon to someone across the aisle in front of you or behind you to hold. You may be closer to others, so everyone has a chance to hold someone else's ribbon.
Excellent, excellent. Look, we've made our own interconnected web. So if you're able to, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and breathe. So while you have your eyes closed, I want you to imagine, what does being part of a web feel like? How do you know the web is interconnected? Gently, very gently, tug a little bit on the ribbon on your right side. Can you feel the resistance from the other person next to and connected to you? Now let's try the left-hand side. Give it a little tug while our eyes are closed. Could you feel your connection to that person next to you? Now gently pull on both sides. What does that feel like? Do you feel the resistance around you? Are you starting to feel the connections? With your eyes still closed, please wonder with me, how do you know you are part of the web and just not connected to the people right around you? And what your place is in it all? While holding your ribbons, please open your eyes. So what we're going to do is we are going to be sending a pulse across the room, around this room with a room-size web. So if you are nearest the choir area, so the choir and people on that side, and I may have to let my interconnected ribbon go, sorry, Carmen. If you're on this side, maybe Carmen could join up with more of the web over there. So if you're on this side, or you are the start of the interconnected web, this is what I'd like you to do. On the count of 3, the people on this side, the choir side, the fellowship side, you're going to raise your left hand just a little bit while pulling on the ribbon. And then when the person next to you feels the pull, they will raise their left hand and pull gently, and so on, and so on, and so on, until the pulse gets to the side of the room by the outside window. We're going to watch that pulse travel like a wave across the sanctuary. So are you all ready? On this side of the room? Going to send a pulse? Okay, so get ready. 1, 2, 3, begin. Excellent, excellent. Now, we're going to, you may put your arms down gently. Let's try it from the other direction. We're going to start with Dan and Reverend Meredith here, and we're going to see if that pulse can travel across the web back to the choir. Are you ready, Dan? Get ready, get set, go. It's almost there. It's going, it's going. There we go, we did it. You may put your hands down gently. All right, there, wait, there's more.
This time, let's see if the pulse can travel from the choir side of the room to the outside wall and then back. Again, we'll begin on the count of 3 with people on the fellowship hall choir side of the sanctuary sending a pulse with their left hand. Are you ready over there, choir? And 1, 2, 3, begin.
And send it back.
It's coming back.
All right, all right. So, I don't know, how was that? Did you feel the wave coming through towards you and then continuing away from you? So now we're going to try it one more time, and I'm going to change it a little bit, Dan. We're going to change it a little bit by having you close your eyes and sending the wave across the room this way to the window to Dan and then back. All you do is give a little tug on your ribbon to let the other person know that they should raise their hand. Okay, so I'm going to invite you once again, if you are able, to close your eyes. And on the count of 3, I want the people on the choir side to begin. And what I want you to do is use your senses. Listen for the movements of the arms. Feel the tugging of the interconnected web. And stay quiet this time so you can really immerse yourself in the experience. All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3, go. and send it back. All right, I'd like you to open your eyes. Our web almost made it the whole way. We got hung up a little bit in the middle, and that's all right, because webs are not perfect, but we are all interconnected and we are all part of it. So you may go ahead and quietly sit down and put your ribbon up to the side. Thank you for participating in our web ritual.
So folks, I invite us now to get quiet and to think about the intention of that activity as we hear these words of prayer from Stephen Schick. Spirit of life, God of love, I am entwined in your delicate web of mutuality. The life energy that makes me reach for the sun also moves me to become wrapped, like the strong bittersweet vine and the delicate sweet pea, around those I meet and love. Here in the tangle of my daily life, I feel your pulse and sense what it means to be alive. Here, twisted and knotted, I thrive, seeking the light that will pull me from the fragrant blossom of love. Spirit of life, help me to experience the beauty of your interwoven and intricate web, that I might always embrace, without reserve, all those whom my life touches. I invite us to join now in singing our responsive hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life.
So now it's time for the second half of our story. And so I invite you once again to wonder with me. Look at the photo behind me. What about this view is different from all the other images we've seen so far? What do you see that we couldn't see before? Could you see that this photo of the Earth was taken from space? It's beautiful, and it shows details this time. Details of the blue-green hills and oceans, tan deserts, and the white of clouds and icy polar caps.
I invite you to think once again, how do you feel when you look at this photograph? How do you feel when you see our Earth from space? Here's a pretty interesting fact. For most of our history, we human beings didn't have this view of Earth. Even though we'd been looking up at the stars for hundreds and thousands of years, we've had to imagine what the Earth looked like. Nobody knew exactly what our planet looked like until 1966, when the U.S. Lunar Orbiter 1 caught its first small peek at our planet. 6 years later, in 1972, the crew of Apollo 17 took the most well-known picture of Earth, a photograph called The Blue Marble by the astronauts.
Even though 1972 sounds like a long time ago, it's really not. Just to show how new this view of Earth is, if you are willing, please raise your hand if you were born in 1972 or before. Take a look at that. And if you are young, if you were born after 1972, just look around. Okay? All of us did not see what the Earth really looked like until 1972. And that's how new this view of our planet is. And it's that 1972 trip, that was also the last time humans went to the moon.
Here is a map of the world. Can anyone find our congregation on this map? Yeah, there's pretty much no way any of us could pick out from this map. Let's move in closer and look at our country.
So far, these maps have shown the land in our own country. We really can't see horizon on this map, can we? I mean, maybe we can guess where it is. But we can imagine all the other Unitarian Universalist congregations right now in Massachusetts, in Oklahoma, California, Louisiana. We're going to keep moving in closer and closer to see an even larger view of where we live.
Wow, I can't really put a pin on where we are here, could you? Yes, we know that we're in the upper central area somewhere, and it is getting easier.
Okay, now here you can see it's getting a little easier to pick us out, but it's still pretty much impossible to point out our building, isn't it?
Now, if I were to ask you where we were on this map, if you could find our building, do you think you could? You'd probably give me a general idea, but not pinpoint it, right? Well, let's take a look at the next map to see if we can find out where we are.
Okay, this is Carrollton. Now, what about this map? What do you think? Can you find us? It shows us what we'd see through a satellite dish if we were focusing it above our area of town. You can see all the roads, the parks, and bodies of water. Can you pick out our building? Let me see. Well, I put a red dot where we are, just, you know. So I wonder if what would happen if we zoomed in even closer to get a closer up view.
What about here?
What do you think?
Yeah, this is the neighborhood where we sit. You can see our building if you were a small bird flying over the rooftops.
Okay, what about this map? Oh, yeah. Okay, even Google shows us where our church is. Yeah, it's right here. This is the place where we're sitting right now, in this big building with the brown roof that we travel to every week, and so this is pretty easy. So did you notice what happened when we moved from the big picture, the galaxy, the solar system, the globe, to the maps, to this small picture showing where we are? Did you notice that when we zoomed in, most of the maps showed more information and even where Horizon was located, and there was like divisions between counties and states and things like that? So I wonder, what did you prefer seeing, the big picture or the little picture, the photos or the maps?
Maps were created by humans to show certain information about land, rivers, and roads. They also show borders between states and between counties, but those borders are also man-made inventions. All the maps we've seen today have shown our city, our country, our world with those artificial boundaries. And as we've seen, there is a different way of looking at our world with no dotted lines or declaration about who owns what land, like this photo displayed here.
And now I'd like you to think back to our ritual with the ribbons. Think about the way you could feel the other people in the room through the pulse that traveled through our sanctuary, and how one person's affected your actions, and your actions affected the next person, and so on and so on. And I wonder, did you feel like you were part of something larger than yourself? I hope you did.
Carl Sagan, the scientist we talked about earlier, who had asked NASA to take a photo of planet Earth from the edge of the solar system, had some big thoughts about our place in the universe. Carl Sagan wrote, "Our planet is a lonely speck in a great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there's no hint that help will come from anywhere else to save us from ourselves. It is up to us." For me, it underscores the responsibility, our profound responsibility, to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish that pale blue dot, the only home we have ever known. It can seem like a big job and a big responsibility to care for a pale blue planet and all that live here. But there's one last photo we want to show you about our place in the web.
So if we continue our travels going ever inward from the galaxy to the solar system to the state of Texas to zooming in on our horizon neighborhood and even closer still, we would have to show the many different parts that make up Horizon. The people, the buildings, the community garden, the grounds, and so on and so on. All these things and more make up Horizon's web.
And if we zoomed in even closer still, we see the faces of those around us, the flame of our chalice, the stones of the labyrinth, and even the ground. And what better way to remind us that we are not only connected to the earth, but to Horizon itself, whose foundations reach deep into the ground below us, than by thinking about soil. Soil is the foundational, and no matter where we go on the planet, it is beneath our feet and connects us to everyone and everything that is on our planet.
At this time, I'm going to ask the ushers to begin distributing soil to people in cups that did not bring theirs.
Today, many of you have brought soil to share with us from somewhere that speaks to you. Maybe from your garden, where you find your peace and your calm each day. Maybe from the path you walk while you are deep in meditation. Maybe you're bringing soil from a specific place that touches you deep down in your memory. Maybe it comes from someone important to you, or maybe you forgot to bring some, in which case we are sharing soil this morning. So in a minute, as the music begins to play, I invite you to come forward row by row and come and place some soil in these collective vessels. And as you do so, I invite you to think of your place in our community and what you bring to Horizon. So folks, if you're still in need of some soil, will you go ahead and raise your hand so ushers will know to come to you? Spirit of life, bless our collective offerings here this morning, both the soil and the memories that we have given here today. May they represent the cycle of life and connectedness of all things, the snarls in our interconnected web, and remind us that there is much happening beneath the surface that never meets our eyes. May we help each other remember our promises and responsibility to the earth. Just as importantly, may we look to the skies once in a while to remember why we've made those promises. We make a difference by coming together one by one and putting our strengths together. That's true in taking care of the earth, and it's also true in caring for our congregation and the larger community. May it be so. Amen. Please rise, either in body or in spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn, For the Earth Forever Turning. It's number 163.
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to Horizon's mission to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. And we do this because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping to thrive in a just world.
So I invite you folks to remember our web and to join hands as you feel comfortable. The words of our benediction today come from Diana Smith. As we go forth from this sacred space, may we celebrate earth and our shared lives. May we recognize our connections to all that is in and on earth. May we truly and deeply value the inherent worth of all in this awesome, interconnected web of existence. May we commit ourselves to a new way, and may we hold our commitments and each other gently yet firmly. Amen. Go in peace.